Hello everyone, in this tutorial I will be teaching you how to create a cool title slide suitable for any type of presentation. The transition that we will be using is Morph transition. However, this is only available on Microsoft Office 365. But if you don't have Microsoft 365, don't worry because this still works on Microsoft 2016 and probably older version as long as you have a copy of the slide containing the transition. You can check the description below as I have attached a link for the PPT file with the slides containing the Morph transition. Now, first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to copy the slides which contains the Morph transition. For this case, the first two slides contains the transition already, so we're just going to copy and paste it directly. And then we're just going to delete the current elements so that we can have a cleaner slide for us to work on later. And then we're just gonna choose a background. Originally, my topic was all about wood, so I'm just gonna be using this background for now. And then we're just gonna do some adjustments on the background, stretch it so that we can have a full background. And then do some adjustments on the alignment. Now that we're done with our background, we can start putting up our shapes. And first, let's start with our line. So we're just gonna draw it in a diagonal way so that we can have that slant line. Then we're just gonna change the color to white and change the thickness. Let's have 4.5. Oh wait, I think the thickness is actually thicker. It's not 4.5, it's 6. Oh yes, let's change it to 6. And then we're just gonna do some adjustments. And for the remaining two shorter diagonal lines, we're just gonna simply copy the longer one and do some adjustments on the lengths as well as the orientation of the line. For the second short diagonal line, we're just gonna copy and paste the first one we have created and just do some repositioning. Now that we're done putting up our lines, so we can now add our triangles. Okay, so we're just gonna do some adjustments and we're just gonna rotate it 180 degrees so that we can have an inverted triangle right there, okay? And then remove the outline of the shape, change the size, and just do some adjustments so that it will be aligned on the center of the triangle created by the diagonal lines. And then we're just gonna change the color to plain white and change the opacity. Let me check the first one. I think I had here, it's 68%. So we're just gonna use 60% for this one also to achieve the same output. There we have it. And now we're just gonna copy and paste it so that we can have the other triangles. Then just do some adjustments on the distances right there. So this is how our triangles look like. And for the lower part, we're just gonna simply copy and paste the first 3 triangles so we don't have to create a new one. And then just do some rotations. That will make our job easier. Right, there we have it. Then just do some repositioning. So now it's time for the larger triangle. We're just gonna simply copy one of the triangles we have created earlier and just do some rotations right there and do some adjustments on the size. Yeah, I think I even have to make it larger. Right there, still not the correct shape. Okay, yeah, I think we got it correctly. And let's just do some adjustments, making sure it's aligned at the center of the tip of the triangle. And then the same thing, we're just gonna copy and paste it so that we can have the second and third triangles. All right, we're done with our transparent triangles. And now let's move on to the triangle, which will also serve as the background for our title later on. So initially I had a larger triangle and rectangle placed beside each other, but this time let's just use one shape. So let's add a rectangle first. And then send it backwards so that we can see the diagonal lines. And then of course we change the color to white. And the opacity, I think it's not the correct one. A bit lighter probably. It's still not the same. Let me check the original one. Yeah, I think this is the correct one. It's 20%. Okay, there we have it. It's similar to the original one. Now we're just gonna add two rectangular shapes because later on we're gonna be subtracting it so that we can have a triangular tip. So we'll just align it to the diagonal lines created earlier, and then just do some, yeah, I think we'll have to change the opacity so that we can see the line behind it. Right there, it's a bit clearer. And then we're just gonna copy it and then rotate it so that we can have it the same shape as the diagonal lines. Okay, right there. In order to create a triangular tip on this rectangle, we're just gonna click the larger one or the white rectangle right here, and then remaining two rectangles. Then we're gonna go to Format, Merge Shapes, and then Subtract, and there we have it. So now we're ready to put our titles as well as the icon if you wish to put up some icon. So for this one, I actually used Century Gothic. We're just gonna insert some text box and remove the outline, then type the title, Design Number 1. Okay, I used here Century Gothic, I think. Yeah, no, it's TWCen, sorry. TWCen, and then the color, it's the third one from the top. And then change the size, make it a bit larger. Alright, it's the same as the original one. And then for the name, we're just gonna simply copy this one, then paste, and then change it. If you have any subtitles or if you're the presenter, then you can put your name right there below. Then change the size, make it smaller. And then if you want to change the text, you can change it. Alright, it's all set, and we can add our icon. For this one, I looked for an icon for a wood, and I have it here. It's actually a PNG file. Unfortunately, I think there are watermarks or these white lines. I'm not sure what these are. So we're just gonna use PowerPoint to remove these lines. We're just gonna click the picture, remove background, then mark the areas to keep because we don't want the outer portion to be deleted also. Then just do some size adjustments. Okay, right there. Now we're done with our format or with our layout. We're just gonna simply copy it, everything, and paste it on the first slide. For this one, it's actually on the third slide. Then in order to create that cool transition, we're just gonna move everything else to the sides so that later on we can have that cool transition wherein everything seems to go towards the center. Then to create some delays on the text or on the shapes, we're just gonna move it a bit further so that this will create like a slow-mo effect, or it will somehow create an effect wherein some of the shapes are being left behind. I think we have something wrong right there. We're just gonna remove that small triangle. We're just gonna add some rectangle and then do the same thing, subtract. Yeah, it's important that we remove the triangle, because if we leave it right there, later on upon the transition, it will be seen, and we don't want to have that kind of bad triangle thing left during the transition. It's not good to look. Okay, the same thing with the remaining triangles. We're just gonna do some adjustments. We're gonna put it upwards. Then we're just gonna move the remaining triangles a bit further to create that slow-mo effect, I think. Then we're also going to be doing the same thing on the remaining triangles. So we're just going to drag it down to make things faster, instead of using the arrow keys to move the triangles. I think that's easier. Yep, right there. I think we're all set now. By the way, of course, let's not forget to do some animation on our background. So we just simply stretch it, make it larger, and then align it at the center. And then we're just gonna change the color, make it a bit darker, and give it some blur effects. And I think now we're ready with our animation. Yeah, I think I forgot to do some animation on the lines. We just need to move it outside of the main slide to create that moving effect later on. Right there, and I think now we're all ready. Now let's test our design. So that's all, guys, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video.